Hello everyone, welcome back to Mark's Garage channel. Today's mission, I want to try to get the Windlace weather strip on. That goes, I got a long strip that goes right over here. Goes just like that. Nope, got that backwards. Just goes just like that, and it's held in with a retainer. I want to show you this. Here's the retainer. Now this retainer is for 49 to 55 Chevy and GMC. I have a 47, it's a little bit different, but let me zoom in and I'll show you what's up. Here's a little piece of the windlass. It goes something like that, and it gets retained. But this retainer, if you look at it, it's made to hold another piece. And that's because the 48 or the 49 and up, it snaps into this retainer here. The retainer for the 47 doesn't have these holders. It's more like an M-shaped, just to hold this on. And what the problem is, it's not a really big problem, is there's one screw hole on each piece. So I'll have to locate the screw holes that are in the cab somehow. And I got to figure that out. But before I even get into that, take a look inside the truck. I got this, all my seats in there, and then the seat frame is right in the way of where all the screw holes are. There's 10 screw holes running up this, this is the B pillar, I would guess you would call it. And then there's probably 10 more on the A pillar on this side. And there's a couple across the top. Now, hindsight being what it was, I probably should have tried to save the retainer from the original. But I fought with that thing, and every screw was a fight. And I know a little, since then I've learned some techniques for getting screws out like that. But when I did it, I took those out. I just ripped the retainer to shreds, put a vice grip on the screw and the retainer, what was left of it, and unscrewed it. So first things first, let's get this seat out and go from there. Let me give you a narrative of what I'm doing here while I'm talking. I had left the radio on in the background, and YouTube will cut that out or not post. So anyways, here's me removing the bottom cushion. It just snaps out. Underneath the cushion's storage space. I think that's where the original jack gets stored on these vehicles. So I'm still looking for an original jack to go with this truck. And then I go and proceed to take the back cushion off. That's in with 3 screws across the top of the frame, just 3 Phillips screws. And then I start scratching my head and going, okay, how does this frame come out? And there's some skirts, decorative skirts that go around the outside of the frame on both the left and the right side. So I end up taking those off. And then there were a couple nuts that were exposed that hold the frame onto the track, and I took those off. Then I realized that the track has to come out completely. And then I think I talk about that in the next segment. Yeah, now it's all coming back to me now how this goes together. The track has a stud on it, which goes through the this, I guess you want to call it a seat pan. So if I remember right, I do remember right, the seat pan had 2 holes, which were, whoever removed the seat the first time just pried it up and pulled the nuts right through. It took the whole track out. And then I had to go up to Massachusetts, and I found a set of tracks the guy sold me through Marketplace. So there's one stud on this side, and then in the back here, let me see if I can show you. I'll stop this. Here I'm going to pan down the back wall of the cab, and then you'll see the back of the seat pan. And I'm looking over, and you see those two nuts here. Those are the back of the seat track. So I got to take those out next. Turns out there are two studs in front and two in the back. Now that the seat frame's out, I just got to work it out without, it's really a two-man job just because of the bulk of it, but I can figure it out. I'll get it out. Just give me a sec. Yeah, so what I did not want to do was step on my retainer. Those things are expensive. That's the other thing about those retainers. They aren't cheap. So if you could save yours and reuse it, do it. All right. So let's take a look inside this floor pan now. The light on. It's amazing the amount of dirt that's in there from just one season and behind the seat. And I'll remind you of this. This is the rear support. Somebody hacked it away right here to put a gas tank in. And then what I did is I welded these angle brackets in because the cab was bouncy. With the floor not moving, the cab would bounce because there's nothing holding it up. So I fixed that with those brackets right there. You see they hacked away the sheet metal over there in the corner. But that's fine because then I was able to get in to the corners on both sides with the shop vac and really clean them out really well and treat them for rust from the inside. So I'm glad for that. So next step is now to line up the holes with the make new holes in the bracket, but I got to figure out where they go. So let me start on that. Now hopefully you get a really clear view of what I'm trying to accomplish here. These are the holes in the cab, and I got a bunch of 832 machine screws, and they're going to line up. But there's only one hole in this entire retainer. So what I got to do is locate where these other holes go. And you know what? As I'm lining this up, this hole here doesn't line up with anything. This top hole. Then there's holes here, and the trick is going to be to drill holes in the retainer that line up with the holes in the cab, and you can even tell it's a little twisted too. What I think I'm going to do is put a screw in each one of these because I got to make sure they work anyways, that the threads aren't buggered. I'll screw them in, and then I'll put this against it and maybe give it a tap. Maybe it'll make an indentation of some sort, and that'll locate where the screws go. It's got a little twist to it. I'm trying to fix that at the same time. So you see I got the upper retainer basically taped in place, and there's screws behind it. What I could do is I could push this into place, kind of scratch with the head of the screw where it goes. And what I've done on this piece here, there's a curve in it, so it can only go in one place. There's no adjustment up or down. I mean, the curve is right there, and I've made some scratches where the holes are, where the screws are, the screw heads. I got all the screw heads in, and I've made some scratches. And what I'm going to do is just drill holes and get a couple of them in, and then continue down until I got them all the holes drilled. And I think I'll put the rubber in place, hold it there, and try to find the holes with the rubber. So you can see now I have the retainer all screwed in, but the retainer doesn't stay in. It's got to come out so I can get the rubber in. And I haven't even done the front piece yet. And from the factory, this is all one piece, but I can see for reproduction purposes, they got to sell it in 3 pieces just so they can ship it. But this being the incorrect retainer, this is really a holder for the other style. you know, one might think, oh, you know, you got it screwed in now. Why don't you just go buy the other one? It's another $50 and be done with it. And I'm thinking of doing that. You know, why not? Just buy the other retainer or the other rubber piece and be done. All it has to do is snap into here. And, you know, who's going to care if it's from a later model truck? It'll still look good. And then this piece here, I got to show you this. This goes something like that. But since it's the wrong retainer, it doesn't quite fit right. So I'd probably have to cut this and bend it down or break it off and get it out of the way completely for this last detail. And then on top of that, if I want to make more, I still have to make more work for myself. This retainer's got to come out, get sanded and painted to match this color, because this will show, because it's on the outside of the piece, of the rubber piece, where if I buy the rubber piece that's supposed to snap into here, it hides this completely. I can keep it black and nobody would care. So I'm going to go see what it takes to get this from LMC. I might just buy it. Now I'm thinking about it, might just be easier. But then again, do I ever do anything that's easy? I don't know. Let me know what you think, because I'm still in the middle of doing this, and then I'm going to end the video here. So should I buy the other rubber and be done with it? Or should I take this off, paint it, and do it kind of the way the factory had it originally, even though it's not the original type of retainer? Thanks for watching.